out of faith of this truth. Go on.
2nd Esdras 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
Right, because who came out first? When you read the book of Genesis chapter 25, Esau came out first. Go on.
2nd Esdras 4 verse 37.
Bring him out.
Let me start from verse 36. Let me start from verse 37. By measure have you measured the times, and by number have you numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled.
Give me Job 14, brother. Job 14 and 2. While you looking for that, give me Job 14 and 2. Let's read that one more time.
2nd Esdras 4 and 37. By measure have he measured the times.
All right.
And by number have he numbered the times.
Okay.
And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled.
Exactly. So there's a set measure of time that all of the other nations had to rule. And Esau can't extend that time by a millisecond. Okay? Because the bound is a bound to that time. He's on limited time. Read that, brother.
Job chapter 14 verse 2. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down.
Yeah.
He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not.
All right, go on.
And dost not thou open thine eyes upon such one, and brightest and bringest me into judgment with thee? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one.
Yep.
Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. And thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
That's what we just read in Esdras, the 4th chapter. Okay, how the Lord have measured the times and numbered the times. Okay, until the said measure be fulfilled. So this is why Esau is in power right now. So he has to fulfill his time because the Gentiles, and I'm talking about the heathens now, the actual other nations, they had a time to rule the planet and their time was fulfilled. So now, this kingdom here, this paganistic empire was preordained to come in effect, and it has its time to be fulfilled. So once the Gentiles have already fulfilled their time, now the kingdom of heaven is going to be established on earth now. Go on.
Luke 21 verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
There you go. I don't have to explain that. He said it's himself.
Right.
Self-explanatory. So he would be trodden down until all of the Gentiles, their time be fulfilled.
Right.
See? Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, man. I keep quoting that. Matter of fact, brother. All right. Go on.
2nd Esdras 9:01. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
So now we're here to measure the time. The prophets were given the command of the Most High to measure the time. But first it was given to Ezra, okay, to do that. And now he's written these things down, and now it's commanded that we measure the time. So how is it that we measure the time? By seeking out for prophecy, man, being occupied in prophecy. So that means we gotta cut this. We gotta cut. What is it, man? The Coronation Street out of there. We gotta cut EastEnders out of there. You know what I mean? We gotta cut all of these TV programs out of there, man, and watch the news. Now, I'm not saying that brothers can't watch EastEnders. If that's your pleasure, then that's your pleasure. Craving watching a football game or whatever. Do your thing. Okay, but in the meantime, in between time, we gotta be occupied in this right here. Go on, bro.
It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Right, it says diligently in itself. Go on.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Right, so ultimately he made the world. Yahweh Shah made the world. Now Yahweh had the vision of the earth, okay, but then Yahweh Shah and the angels made the earth. Right, the Most High gave the commandment. Better said, go on.
Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Right, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And who are the living? The living are those that have the shoot that were being born again back to life. Like I said earlier before, in order for you to be born again, you would have to have been dead to be born again. So who was dead to the Most High? The Israelites. And they were regenerated by the word, because they got the word of life in them. Go on, brother. You got any more on that?
A little bit more.
Go on.
And give it, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it whomsoever he will, and setteth up one over it, the basis of men.
Right, and set up one of them, the basis of men. And that's Esau. Esau was set up. But guess what? We're also the basis of men right now, economically speaking. Now we as a people, we don't have, we're not naturally based, but we're in a base situation right now. But the Most High is going to exalt us to glory. All right, amongst those that sit on thrones, it's in the book of 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter. All right. Take your time, brother. Sometimes the Spirit does that, man. The Spirit will reveal things, Yeah, you're going.
On YouTube, you were saying it earlier that they're mocking Wiki channels.
But not YouTube, but in the country as a whole.
When I came in last week from camp, I watched a live stream with the apostles. They were saying the same thing. They had a live stream, but then it froze. There was no one in it. And our views are going dramatically down. So they got us on some kind of list. Right, but it's not going to stop the elect from being souls. It's a waste of time, man.
It's really, when you really check it out, man, the cat is already out the back. The truth is already out. So, I mean, you can't really, because see, you could teach somebody to do something, but you can't unteach somebody not to do something. That's just the thing. You can teach somebody how to ride a bike, but you can't teach them how not to ride a bike anymore. Okay? So that's just the thing. So Esau, and this is what I believe. I don't know, right? I could be wrong in saying this, but what I believe the elect are damn near sealed, man. That's what I believe. And this is why Esau, the Most High got Esau pushing this thing about pretty much shutting down shootings, man.
Isaiah 43:5, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west.
Right, because ultimately, everything that's happening on this earth right now, because we're going on to another topic. The topic is the topic is pretty much, I don't really know at this present moment what to name this topic. But I'll name it on the once I edit the video and stuff like that. But anyway, we're going into on how we at the end of the world. And through the end of the world, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, as we've explained. But let's read this.
Isaiah 43:5, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth.
Right, bring my sons from far, and all those that be of the end of the earth, the daughters, because you're going to have certain women that believe. Okay? And they're going to be saved also. So at the end of the world, you're going to have all of this stuff happen. You're going to have the chip coming, you're going to have the martial law being declared, you're going to have shootings that are going to be gunned for, and all of these things are going to start happening. Right? And then thereby the elect are going to be delivered and saved. Okay? Those that believed in Yahweh Baal Shemel Shai. Because it's going to get so bad to the point where, as it was said in Esau'S, it says, shall faith be found on the earth? It will be found on the earth. You're going to have the men that believed in the truth that's going to be found on the earth. Okay? And that's really what it's all about. But Esau, the Most High is going to use Esau to really fulfill the things going back, going within the end of the world, so to speak. Okay? Yeah, we don't.
Verse 7, even everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory, I have formed him, yea, I have made him.
Right, exactly. He have made Israel, he have made Jacob to be his glory. So Israel is going to be a glorified people before all nations. And this is why Jacob was created. Jacob was created to literally give the praises of the Most High. All right, and to present themselves as his children, as his people. Okay, and that's exactly what we were created for. We were created to give praises and glory to the Lord.
Right.
That's just that, man. Go on.
Isaiah 43 verse 21. This people have I formed for myself.
Right.
They shall show forth my praise.
Right. They shall show forth his praise. Go on.
But thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me,
right.
O Israel.
They have been tired of the Lord. Meaning they've gave the Most High the constructed. Turn his back towards the Most High. That's what I meant to say. Go on. Yeah, they worried. Matter of fact, read it one more time.
Isaiah 43 verse 21. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise.
Yeah.
But thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me,
right.
O Israel.
Right, they've been tired of doing the Father's work by keeping the commandments thereby. And that all goes back to sin and them being of the flesh. But the Most High is going to raise up Jacob as a whole nation. And they're not going to be tired of keeping the commandments of the Most High. Go on.
Ecclesiasticus 43 and 30. When you glorify the Lord, exalt him much as he can.
Right.
Even yet will I far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough.
Beautiful, beautiful. You understand? And all the Israel's going to be able to do that. Once the kingdom of heaven is set up, once we're under that second covenant, we're soon to Isaiah 31 and 33, I believe it is, and Hebrews 8 and 8. So once that second covenant is installed in us, then that's going to be fulfilled. We're going to exalt the Lord as much as we can. Can't even read that.
Isaiah 44 verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb.
Right, and that made thee and formed thee from the womb. Go on.
Which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant,
Yeah.
and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen.
Right, which the word Jeshurun is from the Hebrew Yashawan, which means the first. We were the first of all of the nations, although he created all of the other nations before he created us. But yet he likens us as the first. Okay? That's why he said, I blew thee from the womb. Because all of these other nations, yeah, they were created but to play their lot. And their lot was to be the servants or the underdogs. We were simply created to give praises to the Most High. That's the truth. Now you got these guys like Vocab and Malone, these Christian nutcases, these Asians I call them, probably so.
Yep, Vocab Malone.
Right, Vocab Malone I call him. His real name is Malone, but I call him Malone.
Vocab Malone.
Yeah, Vocab with that Maloney, that Maloney shit, man.
You're right.
Which Maloney is actually pork. That's pork, man. That's some American bullshit, man. Bologna and cheese, you know, Jake like that bologna and cheese, man. Yeah, man. So like I was saying, you got Vocab and bologna.
Vocab Malone.
Talking that Christian nonsense about how, yeah, well, what did he's like talking as if like what we're saying is just pretty much foolish. And you know the thing about it is that he knows what we're saying is the truth, because why he keep talking about the Israelites for?
Yeah.
Why he keep talking about us for? Because he's bothered, man. He can't sleep right at nighttime.
Yeah.
He's troubled while he's sleeping because he's thinking about what we're telling him. Say something, brother. You want to say something? Say something.
About the first one thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's why he keeps bringing this Israelite thing up, because he's bothered by us, man. He's bothered because if he truly believes that we're talking foolishness, why he keeps bringing us up? Why he keep talking about us? Because even he's connecting the dots and he's reading the verses for himself probably behind closed doors, and he's coming to that consideration that we have is the truth. All right. So if he's an Edomite, which is it's already been declared that his forefathers were actually German. So that would mean that he's an Edomite, man. All right. And you could say, well, man, because he's half Italian, his mother's Italian. Yeah, Sicilian. So he's trying to merge that Sicilian blood in. You can't do that, man. You are who your father is. If you're an Edomite, you're an Edomite. There's no trying to impersonate Jacob. You could try to rap or dance all you can, but it ain't gonna flow right because that ain't your spirit.
Now,
okay.
Quick question.
Go on, bro.
Just on what you're saying, you're trying to merge his Italian into truth. Okay.
Right. He's really what he's really trying to do. He's trying to force people to believe that he's an Israelite. Ultimately, that's why he's saying it because he knows the Italians are Israelites. All right. Yeah, well, you got some that's in like southern Italia, but when you go up north, that's when you go into the realms of Esau, man. You go up north, but down south, like southern Italy and Sicily, predominantly the Jakes, Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So Mark 17, what's on verse 17? For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion, whom being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him.
Right, so check that out. Check what he just said. He said, under every nation, the Most High has given them a ruler. But Israel is the Lord's portion. You see that? So that hasn't changed. From the Old Testament to the New Testament, it hasn't changed. So how can vocab baloney involve himself and his kind into the salvation? It can't work. All right, it can't work. That's not in the scriptures. That's his new. That's the new thing we're gonna call him. Yeah, vocab for the baloney. that's we gonna call him that from now on, man. Because all he's talking is pork shit, man. Bring him for a smile.
This is Luke 3, verse 37.
Yeah.
Which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Malaleel, which was the son of Canaan.
I think it's Makal or something like that. That's the Hebrew way of saying. Go on.
Okay. Which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of the Most High.
Right, that's the genealogy of Yahweh Shai, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it said being Israel is the firstborn because we come from the first fruits of all nations, the Adamites. Right. We're the first sons of the Most High. All right, so that's why it says we're the firstborn because we come from that lineage from Adam. All right, we're the firstborns of all nations.
Yeah.
All right, and we're also the first spirits that were created.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So that's why we're called the firstborn. That's why I said the former is not Jacob is the former of all things.
Right.
He's the beginning of all things. All right.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. I never thought of that.
Let me get that real quick. This is Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things.
Right, he is the former of all things. Meaning he came before everybody. Okay? Like the brother just explained. I don't have to explain it. He explained it. Go on.
And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Right, no, look. Yeah, go on. No. Break it down.
There's this is talking about the first fruits.
I tell you what, brother, let him get this one in, and then I'll let you break that down. Man. Go on, bro.
Book of John chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the power, and the Word was a power.
Yeah.
The same was in the beginning with the Most High, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. And in him was life, and the life was the light of men.
Right, that's the wisdom. The light of men is referring to the wisdom. So he was the word. He's the one that was in the beginning that created all things. Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh, he had the vision, or he gave the word, and Yahweh Shai fulfilled the word. That's why he's playing this lot even to this very day, because Yahweh Shai, all he went to do, because what did he say? What did Yahweh Shai say? He said, I have come not to judge, but to do with my Father's will. I'm roughly paraphrasing it. So that was always the lot of Yahweh Shai. His lot was always to bring alive the word of Yahweh, even back when he was creating the earth. Okay? When he was creating the earth, if thou couldn't perceive what we are saying, right? That's what Yahweh Shai did. When Yahweh Shai was creating the earth, he was creating the word of Yahweh, man. What are you looking for?
It talks about Israel as the first fruits.
Not what we need, is
Yeah,
it?
no, you're gonna have to look that up on the phone. And that was always a slot. Was to fulfill his father's word. That's actually a topic in itself. That's a sit down in itself.
Look at the word first fruits in the scriptures. Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, go ahead, excuse me. Hebrews 12, verse 22. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, which is this, the elect, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to the Most High, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. Now, the elect were the firstborn, and we're the fathers of the 2/3. Now, that's why when the Lord brought about his judgment, he always left a small remnant. A small remnant is the elect. And then that small remnant, the 2/3 would always come back. And that's why the scripture said that Israel is always the first, is his firstborn, because in the beginning of time, the elect alongside Yahweh Shai made all things. And that's why all nations were created by Yahweh Shai and the elect, the firstborn. Alright, that's why it says Israel, we're the firstborn, because we come from the elect, the firstborn. No? You understand what I'm trying to say? 2/3, the rest of the nation of Israel, we come from the elect, the 144K.
Well, brother, you said you're not included in that. They're included in that. They came from us.
Right. So that's why they're, as a whole, we're the firstborn. Through the first spirits created. Alright?
Beautiful. You know? Go on, bro.
Leviticus 23:10, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
Right? Right, because you had, matter of fact, read that again. I wasn't listening. Read that.
Leviticus 23, verse 10, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
Right. Because that's something that was one of those that was an important law that we had to keep. Okay, was to gather all of the first fruits and what, give it unto the elders, right? The priests, which the priests ultimately became elders, so to speak. So if you look at us right now, you see everything, man. The Most High made everything so perfect. Because what do we? If we're the first fruits, what are we gathering? More of the first fruits. That's why it says, I don't cut you, brother. I don't cut you, brother. Get me John 15:16. I see what read what you got, because you got what you got. Yeah, hold that. Let me read this.
Isaiah 1 verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
You know what that's talking about? That's not talking about how Jake became homosexuals and fruitcakes. I gotta use the right term. because they're gonna fuck with the video. So I gotta be a little bit PC here, which I don't want to be PC. We don't do PC. But yeah, what that meant was what that was really talking about is that Israel would be destroyed forever, because if you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah was on the scene and it was destroyed and never came back. So if it wasn't for us, the first fruit, mainly beginning with Yahweh Shai, there would be no returning of Israel. There would be no more Israel. That's what he meant by that. So, keep going.
John 15 and 27, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning.
Right, you shall also. Wait a minute, let's read that again. I was gonna go into something else, but we have to stay on this topic here.
John 15 and 27.
Yeah.
And ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning.
Going back to what you were saying. Matter of fact, you might as well break it down, because you were on that point already.
Because the Lord always left a small remnant, and that small remnant was always with Yahweh Shai from the beginning. Alright? And that's how the 2/3 has always been able to come back through that small remnant. Like when we exited Egypt, the 2/3 got wiped out in the wilderness, and the small remnant was left that entered into the land. And the 2/3 were born into the kingdom. They didn't enter into the kingdom, but they were born into the kingdom. Right? Because of that small remnant. Right? And that's always been from Yahweh Shai ever since the beginning of time. In fact, the elect is written in the first verse of the Bible. The whole Bible. The first verse, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
Let's get that. Let's get it.
Hold on.
Yeah, let you break it down, brother, because you on that point. So I'm gonna have to just fulfill that point. And
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning, how do you say it? The powers. In the beginning, the powers created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters.
And before we go further, brother, I want to say this. Before we go further, hold what you got for this brother here, right? For the elder, and get me Matthew 13:9-10. And see, only the remnant are gonna get this truth, man. Not everybody's gonna be able to perceive what we're saying here. Okay, this is what you call the dark sayings. We're going into a dark breakdown that no one in the world can see but only the elect. So I just want to read this real quick, and I'm gonna bring it back to the elder here. He's gonna break it down. You know?
Matthew 13:9. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Right.
And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly.
But to them it is not given.
So what we're gonna break down is a parable, man. Now I'm gonna give it back to this brother here.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, the powers created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the powers moved upon the face of the waters. And the powers said, Let there be light, and there was light. And the powers saw the light, that it was good, and the powers divided the light from the darkness. And the powers called the light day, and the darkness they called night.
That's right, let's read the first verse.
Oh, it's the first verse. In the beginning, the powers created the heaven and the earth.
Right, that's it. And read it verbatim, bro. Read it verbatim.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
That goes into exactly what God just brought out about the mysteries. It just says God. Now, you got verses where it just says God by itself. Then you got verses where it says Lord God.
Right. It goes into Lord God in Genesis 2.
Right. So when it says Lord God, that's talking about the Most High Himself. You see His name there, Yahweh, behind the capital letters Lord. Because you got lowercase Lord, you got Lord capital L, small case O-R-D. That's talking about a man that who's the Lord. Or king, for example. But then it says Lord high case, L-O-R-D, or high case. When you look behind that word, that's Yahweh. That's talking about the Most High Himself. But in this verse here, it says God. Now when you go into that word, the word there is Elohim, which means powers. Because it was, as I read before in John, it says how you have been with me from the beginning. Because because it was the elect Yahweh Shai that made all things, the firstborn of all spirits. Alright? The elect Yahweh Shai, we joined heirs in the beginning. And we're again gonna be put back in that first as it was in the beginning, as it will be in the end. Alright, so everything's gonna be put back in its right perspective again. Alright? So that's why I said Israel's being the firstborn. Because we're all Israelites. And we're the fathers of the 2/3. So as in general as a nation, we're the firstborn. Okay? Yeah. Even though as we're the youngest, alright, as being Israelites, well, we were always in the beginning of Yahweh Shai. That's it.
John 17 and 11. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thine own name those who thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are.
Right. One as we are. Okay? That's the same agreement. Alright, because you got people that say that God and Yahweh Shai are the same entity. Yeah. It's not the truth. When it says we're the same, we're talking about same mind, same agreement. Okay? I'll read that again actually.
John chapter 17 and 11. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are.
Right, so keep them in thine own name. Alright, so when we came in the name of the Most High. Alright, and there's a scripture that says in Psalms, except the Lord build it. In fact, excuse me. Yeah, give me Psalms 127 verse 1.
Time is it, brother? 7:30. Okay, well, Iman is we speak.
Psalm 127 and 1.
I did about 2 hours already.
Psalms 127 verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman walketh but in vain.
Stop, read that again.
Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it.
So it said, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Right, because the Lord built this house right here. Okay, this is founded upon the name of the Most High and His Son. Okay, Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai. All right, so this is the sanctuary or the house that's been built upon His name, as we just read. Excuse me. As we just read in the verse before, that Yahweh Shai said, "Keep them in Thy name."
Don't read
okay?
right.
So meaning we be kept in the name of Yahweh.
Lord is the best that will come in this life. Only He help us in this life.
Read that again. Read that again.
Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it.
Exactly, they labor in vain that build it. Because you got other factions of religions that's trying to build houses without the name of the Most High.
Yeah, exactly.
And even Israelite groups that are trying to build without using the name of the Most High. That even denouncing the name of the Most High. The scripture says that they're laboring in vain when they're trying to do that. They're laboring in vain. You know what I'm saying? Now, give me the scripture where it says the man that built his house upon sand.
I was thinking about that. That's in Luke 14. That's in Luke 14, brother. I was thinking about that scripture, man.
And it said, except the Lord, and it says,